Thank you everyone for taking the time to listen to this video. Most people couldn't make the actual presentation, so I recorded this separately to make a video that you can watch at your leisure. So I'm going to keep this relatively short. This is a sample of the folks who have volunteered graciously their time to technically review the content in the book. This is a world-class team, really top-notch folks, and we're frankly exceedingly lucky to have so many fantastic people that have offered to review parts or sections of the book. A lot of these folks are retired from major institutions. We've got several national labs, universities, and some government scientists represented here. And each one is maybe a topic expert, so they're going to get a whole chapter, or they could be a subsection expert, and they might only receive 5 or 6 pages, depending upon the needs of the specific topic. Beyond the frontline technical reviewers, we also have a second tier of younger folks who are typically 20s and 30s. They're graduate students or other people that are aspiring to learn more about fusion, and they also are reading the content for general review. And then outside of that, I've got several layman folks that are just reading the book. Linda Grable, I've been working with. She's been fantastic. She helps with editing. And then Dr. Fred Bortz, who specializes in popular science books for children, has been reading a lot of the material. He's a great mentor and has been helping immensely with the project, and most of the material, when it's finally through the technical review, will pass through his hands for cold body review. And then also I'm looking to add a graphic artist to the project. I want a graphic artist to help with some of the figures, to bring an artistic flair to some of this material, which I think is just really cool for fusion in general, because we never see graphic artists work on plasma physics papers. There are 6 goals to this book. First and foremost are the twin goals of accuracy and clarity, and that's the main problem we're working through right now. The book has to be technically accurate, and sometimes the reviews can migrate from technical accuracy into stylistic changes. We are trying to address gaps in the public knowledge on nuclear fusion. The public doesn't understand the last 70 years of fusion research, and when they think fusion, they might think one particular machine, but they may not know about pinches, mirrors, tokamaks, stellarators, FRCs, Spheremax, Dynamax, or the levitating dipole experiment. So we want to give them a sense of the broader scope. So this is a big tent fusion book, which is pretty unique for fusion books if you compare it to like an F.F. Chen book or a Dolan book. We're also going to explain fusion with pictures, as opposed to, say, a mathematical derivation, which is what you see predominantly in most fusion texts. This is a figure and cartoon-based style of approach. So it's fusion explained with cartoons, which I think is just radically different from anything else that's come before, which is why this is so exciting. We're going to be including the history of fusion and also some key figures throughout the field that dedicated 30 or 40 years to bringing a specific topic into fruition. So we're looking for those champions. So each chapter has a person, the bio of a person who dedicated a large portion of their professional career to a specific approach. For example, Dick Post or Francis Theo for plasma jet magnetoinertial fusion. So we want the reader to kind of enter the field through the eyes of a scientist and see how their struggles and their professional work through the career brought that technology into fruition. And this is also a concept-driven book, so we talk about the initial concept and then how through time the concept was augmented, changed, or otherwise twisted to try to respond to different technical challenges or physics challenges. So for example, in ICF, we start with John Nichols' initial paper and then go through to maglev and the 4 or 5 different variants of ICF that exist today. Finally, this is a 2020, so we're going to be including some details on fusion startups and commercialization. There's going to be some discussion of superconductors and the impact that they will have on this field. And we're trying to whet the reader's interest into getting them excited about this field. Long term, I could see this book being part of a larger curriculum, out-of-the-box curriculum for high school students. In fact, this week I had a high school teacher from a local area, Pittsburgh High School, approach me on LinkedIn and talk about the idea of building a fusion curriculum, out-of-the-box fusion curriculum around this book. And I think that's the kind of direction that in 4 or 5 years I'd be interested in pursuing. This is the current state of the book. It's 224 pages. There are 11 chapters in forward material. The 11th chapter has details on the fusion startups. We're probably going to drop that for the Springer review, and then we may add a Beam chapter. 2 of the chapters are in second draft states or first draft states, and they need to be rewritten. These are probably the critical tasks at this point in the project timeline. The FRC chapter is going to be easier to write because we've got Dynamac material that can be easily incorporated, and that's going to give us a bunch of pages. But then the Tokamak chapter is going to be the most challenging, personally, because I know the least about tokamaks and the most material has been written about tokamaks. So I'm going to be looking for a collaborator on that. 5 of the chapters have been sent out for technical reviews, and those technical comments have come back. And so I'm responding to comments on 5 different chapters, which is a heck of a lot of work. So that's currently where most of the material stands. So we're in pretty good shape with 9 months to go. If we generally follow workflow, we're going to have first draft, second draft, then a technical review period, then respond to comments, a second technical review, and then after that, the material will be sent to Fred for sort of finishing. So, it's 37 tasks are left on the schedule, and a certain percentage of those tasks are I'm going to do, Fred's going to do, and then a certain percentage of the tasks we're relying on outside reviewers. With 9 months and 37 milestones to go, I think the project's in pretty good shape, but, it's still a lot of work. These are the rough assignments for each chapter. Some of these have multiple names assigned to them because we've got one chapter maybe being looked at by 2 different people, depending upon where their expertise may lie. I'm also open to rearranging this list as needed. And there are 3 chapters that need to be sent out probably this month. So we're going to be looking for lining up 2 reviewers. Typically, an ask is we approach the technical reviewer and we say, any time in the next 12 months, are you willing to review between 20 and 30 pages of technical content? And we'll give you 4 to 5 weeks to do the review. And I think that's a reasonable ask for a professional plasma physicist, and that's what we limit it to. I also put together a Gantt chart. This is a Gantt chart that goes through the different tasks that I'm going to be doing, Fred's going to be doing, and outside technical reviewers are going to be doing. In summation, I just want to thank everyone for the work that has gone into the book so far. I know that we're not there yet. I also want to say thank you to Fred and the other reviewers for all the work that they've done so far. I think that long-term, a book like this could have a major impact on the fusion field in general. Addressing the public gap in knowledge could help everyone, the entire community, across multiple different silos of technologies and multiple different national laboratories. We face a crisis when it comes to securing funding for fusion at the congressional and political level. And public education, public outreach is really important, and it's something that we don't do enough, or we do very poorly when we do it. We also have specific institutional interests. So we have an institutional interest in promoting, say, a Princeton over a Livermore, or a Livermore over an NRL, or an NRL over an Oak Ridge. And this book is multi-institutional, so it's the whole community. It's really a United States and EU focused book, and so that's why it's going to help this country understand this space better. And I think there's a number of forces in play in this field right now that are pushing public interest further into this space, despite the fact that fusion is so challenging. Climate change, the interest in the spin-off technologies such as medical isotopes or neutron production, and the other supporting technologies like superconductors or neutron loading on superconductors. There are a lot of good reasons to support fusion at this point. And so this book is going to help facilitate all of that. Anyway, thank you for your time.